Okay, cool. Alright. Okay. Hey everybody, welcome to Covelli's Composer's Corner. I'm here with my special friend Nick Savage today, and Nick plays drums in Hardbop Messengers and is a great friend of mine, and I feel really lucky to be with him today because he's going to help me understand sort of another one of these Grateful Dead musical mysteries that I keep encountering, and I want to understand more about what is making it so meaningful for me as a listener. One of the songs I wanted Nick to help me understand is Playing in the Band.
Yeah, I love listening to Playing in the Band, and actually I was going to audition for a cover band years back, and that's one of the tunes that I had to learn. And we were talking about it a little bit earlier. I love to listen to it, and there's a lot of different ways to think about it. What makes it unusual, it seems like it's not 4/4 time like everything else. And so we were listening to it a little bit ago. You could probably play a recording of it, and you know, even though it's 4/4, we were just kind of talking about how it still grooves, and how when I'm listening to something that's grooving, usually I'm thinking about where the backbeat is. So listening 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it seems like there's like 5 backbeats or so, or something like that, if you're counting 10 quarter notes. And it's kind of interesting how we think about it, but I think as a drummer, I tend to think about the backbeat. And so I was thinking 10, 4, instead of like a group of 6 and then a group of 4, or a group of 4 and then a group of 6.
That whole thing is one phrase, and that he does that 4 times makes so much sense to me.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like you're reading a chapter of a book, and you start to see how the sentences break down. You have your capital letters and your periods, and it helps you visualize the way that the author is trying to communicate to you. You can listen that way as well. You're thinking about half as many measures right away because it's not broken up into 6 and 4. But also, it's pretty clear whenever you hear like the root note or the key that you're in of D at the beginning of every phrase. And you can conceptualize, okay, it sounds like the intro or instrumental parts happen in 4 phrases. The verse happens in 4 phrases. What sounds like to me is the chorus happens in 2 phrases. And so it's easy to kind of conceptualize it that way when you think about a little bit bigger of a picture, or 10 beats instead of breaking it up into smaller phrases.
So to illustrate what we're talking about with phrasing, Nick, you play the melody, and I'll sort of play the accompaniment to the melody, and we can show them what we mean by these 10 measure phrases, okay?
Sure, I think it's something like this. 2, 3, 4. Something like that.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, that'll be... It's like the indentation or the start of each one is the return to D, or the tonic, we'd say, the tonic chord.
Yeah, if we were getting really classical theory about it, it even goes 5-1.
Oh, 5-1.
Yeah, you can even kind of hear it go from the 5 to 1, but those are things that I think is going to help any musician that's learning and trying to think with a little bit bigger ears, because this music is so special. And there's a lot going on, and it can be looked at in so many different ways. But if we're going to approach it, I think it's most helpful to take it easy on ourselves, think about it in less measures, think about it into maybe larger phrases that gives us an opportunity to let our ears and our minds and our hearts work when we're trying to interpret the music. And when those things are easy, it makes it that much more fun to play too. So.
Right. I think this music is going to be really fun for us all to play together. and I hope it's going to be fun for the listener to listen to.
Yeah. I think if there was one last thing I could add, it's that, there are some fundamental practices that we make sure that we tackle when we're playing music in general. That's like if you're playing something really fast, it's important on some level to breathe even more, to take your time, and to try to think in larger phrases. Or if you're playing something really slow, it's important to subdivide and kind of counterbalance the fact that there is so much space to fill. And so I think there's sort of a interesting dynamic that we do all the time when we're playing music that helps us out. If we're listening to something, for instance, like playing in the band, that seems like it's complicated because there are details in the parts, then to counterbalance that by thinking about it in large phrases is kind of that same way that we think about it. And so I think in general, like anything that you're listening to, anything we listen to, as we do this project, because a lot of these songs are going to be like that, it's going to be important for us to take that posture.
For sure. Well, Nick, thanks so much for letting me come down and hang out. And
of course.
We hope you'll be buying your tickets to the show. They're selling pretty quickly with you.
April 7th.
Thank you. April 7th.
April 7th.
Friday night, April 7th at Blue Strawberry. And get your tickets now. Thanks. Peace.